We're live. I think we're live.
It's alive.
All right. It seemed like the thing to do for our best of is do a live show and do something kind of crazy. I think that'll be fun. That's too. They're showing ads. That should not be happening.
Well,
Oh, ads are showing. Okay.
that's a show.
I know.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me turn that off. I don't know how I turn that off. You know, YouTube. They do that shit. Okay. There we are. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I can see us.
All right, now I can see us. Yeah.
All right. Hi, everybody. Whoever's out there. Go cool. Hello. We see you. All right. This is a very special episode. What are we doing today, you guys?
2023 best of all. No, I'm not going to say all of Indian cinema. That's
No.
All
you know,
of it.
maybe next year we can look at some other languages, but we are looking at
This is the man with the channel that concentrates only on Malayalam cinema. Okay, Ahmed, just pile on more to each of us. Okay.
Yeah, let's start doing Punjabi and Bengali and Mauritian
Gujarati.
and
You know,
Assamese.
if we had had this idea sooner, we could have done more homework on those. We'll do it next year.
Next year, maybe.
But it just seemed like a fun thing, and I like interacting with people when they come by. So we're gonna go through we're each gonna have our top film of the year per language, and then we might have a couple others we want to talk about because it's hard to pick one sometimes. It's just almost impossible. So, all right.
Yeah.
We might as well not wait. We might as well just hit it.
No, let's just
So,
get into it.
What should we do first? You want to do Hindi first?
Let's start with Hindi. Let's start with Bollywood.
Or should we?
the big
Let's
deal.
start a little smaller, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's start Kannada because they are a small growing industry and they put out some great films this year. So Kannada, here we go.
It's like the
All right.
Oscars.
It's like the Oscars.
It is. It's like I know. I wish we should have been wearing more formal.
Well, Kathy does live in LA, so she has that whole vibe about her, right?
Of course. Yeah,
I'm all about the
yeah.
award shows that I win all the time. All the time. All right. So what is everyone's? Oh, hello, XX. What's up?
I think AHM. So wait, this is actually a year wrap.
I know
This is
who
a
that
year
is. That's one of my loyal viewers. Hello,
Oh,
hello.
Hello, welcome.
Everybody. Hello. Hi. We're talking about our favorite Kannada film of the year.
To start with.
2023. Yeah, that's our
Yeah.
first one. But we're going
That's
to
our
do a bunch of different languages, as you know, if you looked at our promo.
As I was describing before we went live, I keep a letterbox diary of what films I've watched. And sadly, not too many Kannada films play in theaters around me. And I think it was Amit that brought to our attention. We did a group review of basically the one film that I saw that was in Kannada, purely only in, it made in Kannada versus one of these multi-language films that was also released in Kannada. And that was Sapta Sagaradache Elo Side A. Now, Side B also released in theaters, but I was not able to see it. And I'm eagerly awaiting for it to come on streaming somewhere. So if anyone knows where it's going to finally land in streaming, there's rumors that it'll be on Amazon Prime, which is where Side A is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still up in the air. But anyway, like we're left hanging with this cliffhanger of a movie. And so and it was Rakshi Shetty that starred. And it was kind of a sad movie, but yet set up for what looks like to be an epic, Side B with the cassette tape.
Yeah. It was like a sad but beautiful movie. That's the part that really was.
Yeah.
The conflict between that one, because it's like so sad, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think that's my number one pick as well.
It's unanimous because that
Yeah,
it was so poetic. Like I watched it, I just felt so drawn in. It was so beautifully shot. They had so many great iconic moments. Like I love the crossed fingers they would show to each other, like
Yeah.
where they were, and just this beautiful and the way he would listen to the shell. Like there were some gorgeous, just really sweet moments inside this kind of gritty crime jailhouse drama.
Right.
That
It was
just
like an
was-
epic romance on top of it, right? So
yeah, it was just a beautiful, beautiful movie. So I saw that. I never saw anything better the rest of the year after I saw that. So I feel like we kind of all saw the same one, but it really did stand out. It was a little movie and it just loomed large on the landscape.
yeah,
I loved
it
it.
really was beautiful, and it honestly, like if I'm thinking about it, if I was a place like I would think about putting this as the best movie of the year. To be honest, like it is up there. It doesn't go as my number one, but if someone was to argue and say that was the best movie of the year, I could say it because there was a lot to like about it. Like there was something. It's the most unique movie I think I've seen in the year. In that it was just so sad and so grim. I haven't seen anything like that, but it just moved you so emotionally.
yeah.
So taking that it's a challenge, it's not a bright subject, and the movie is shot in jail for 90% of the movie. Yet it's still so beautiful. It's like, wow, how have you done this? It's amazing what you've done with this movie.
It really is.
Yeah, and Rakshi Chetty, the lead actor in the film, has such range. I've seen him now in a number of films. I'm really, really impressed. He's also good behind the camera.
Yeah.
This time, he's just the lead actor, but I just thought he really gave a great performance. And the tiny little kind of trailer that they showed at the end, it looks like he's going to be, once he's out of prison, and in the second half of this film, the part 2, it's going to be radically different, right, than what we saw, like how much prison has changed him and everything. So eagerly awaiting side B, the part 2 of this part 2 of this film.
Yeah. I will give a quick mention if you have. There's one other Kannada movie I saw this year, which I think deserves a quick mention. So if there are any Kannada fans out there sort of listening right now, if you are, give us a shout. But there's a movie called Daredevil Mustafa, which if it's on Amazon Prime, if you guys are interested in seeing, and I'm sure I'll get you guys to watch it sometime and we can discuss it. It's actually a really beautiful movie. It's set like I think the 40s or 50s or something like that, and it's about like school kids in high school. And I was watching it with my wife, and she was telling me about how basically in India, like they didn't have like schools, at least in Karnataka, they were split into regions. So Muslim students would not study with Hindu students. That's what I've been told. That's what I've been found out. This is about a boy who's like Muslim who comes to a Hindu school and him integrating. There's moments of comedy, there's moments of like happiness, there's moments of like struggle. Pretty interesting premise. So I've watched like 3/4 of it and I'm enjoying it. I think that deserves a special mention as well. They're doing some pretty exceptional work there, to be honest, guys. They're having a good time right now putting together some really good stories, and it's unique. I feel like when I watch a Kannada movie, I can tell distinctly it's a Kannada movie just from some of the ways that they're sort of filming things. They're talking about different issues. It's different. So fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. We're going to look for that one. Thanks, Amit, for the recommendation.
Yeah. So we have a little comment here. Is Solar better than KGF? I can't even say they're very different films because they are not. But that's a hard one. That's hard. I'd say they're kind of equal to me, quality wise, and
part of it. Yeah, I mean, we still have, I guess, part 3 to come for KGF, but we've only had part 1 so far of Solar, and the world building so far does seem to be even richer and more epic. I was just watching an interview with Prithviraj and Baradrangan, and he said during filming, he kept saying to Prabhas, we're doing Game of Thrones. I mean, that's something that Kathy and I talked about in our spoiler-filled review on her channel that she posted today, and really it has that film where it that feel of just there's just this epic story with so many characters. So taking nothing away from KGF, I don't think we fully know yet about Solar until we see the next film.
I think it was a more ambitious film, ultimately, scope-wise. They're trying to cover a lot of territories and multiple, populations and an imaginary world and all of that. KGF is a little bit more, not a smaller film,
Grounded.
but a smaller environment, a smaller concept, a limited cast, of characters that we're dealing with. So yeah, just very different. All right.
How was it visually? Because I just want to ask you guys. I haven't seen Solar. I've not seen your review yet. But in terms of, because there was from the trailer, I remember seeing that dark technology, and I was really impressed by it. So how does it compare with KGF?
Well, when we saw the trailer, I think both Kathy and I were like, how is this going to be different from KGF, right? Because it had some of the same muted palette, kind of this feeling like coal dust or something is infecting the way and clothes and what everyone's wearing, and very muted. But that made the moments where there were, bright red blood, women
the color in that street, the city light one with the bright red and green, and everything was really
and then there was a collection of women who were all wearing these red garments, and so it just made it even more visually striking. So while KGF was something that I hadn't really seen before, I was like, okay, how is this going to be different? And he does, I feel like, take it up a notch visually.
Yeah, I think so too. Totally agree with that. And it had a little glossier feel on some of it, but I would say if you liked KGF, I would think you would like Solar, because it has definitely in the same zone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Best Hindi film? Is that what we want to do next?
Yeah, let's do it.
In case everyone was wondering, best Hindi film of 2023. Those big obnoxious credits.
All right. You're only making us pick one. Okay.
We're picking one. This is hard.
It's hard.
Has been really hard. It's hard to pick one, but I feel like if we were all picking 2 or 3, it would take forever.
Okay.
But we can talk about other ones. Like we're talking about Solar, and then we haven't talked about that yet. So, all right.
Do we want Amit to go first? Because he had confessed to Bollywood.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
I will just I'll let the audience know. I have not seen any of the big blockbuster Bollywood movies, and it's not just Bollywood. I've not seen any of the big blockbuster Tamil movies. If you think of Leo, I'm somebody that enjoys lower budget, smaller movies, which is why I seem to focus a little bit on the Malayalam industry. But I have to say there were some really good movies from Bollywood that I would probably say that went under the radar, that probably weren't on the same level as Jawan or Animal. They're the 2 that come to my mind. I'm sure there might be others too. There's a Rocket Rani one that's also kind of high scale, but I want to mention a few that I saw which I was really impressed by it. Earlier on in the year, there was a movie called, I think it was a Netflix movie called Chor Nikal Ke Bhag Gaya. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that one, but it was a really fun movie. Yeah. So that was a really fun movie. It's like about a heist, I think, or something like that, or like there's all these twists and turns, and it's really fun. And I was surprised by it because one, it was a Netflix movie. I was like, what am I coming in for? I didn't recognize really anyone from the cast.
I agree.
Like,
right, the cast are not big names, right?
No, they really weren't big names. So I was pretty impressed by that. And so that movie, really impressed by that. And then another one that I watched in a similar vein, and this I just watched recently actually, it's called Mas Mein Rehna Ka. Now, I don't know if anyone's sort of seen that movie. If you have, then let me know. But it's this beautiful slice of life kind of movie. Aww. Again, pretty low budget. I think the biggest name is Jackie Shroff. He's playing I guess like a senior old man who's a widow. So he's a widower. He falls in love with another widower, and it's like there's another couple which is like on the lower end of the socioeconomical scale. Like there's they're basically like making ends meet and stuff like that. But the way they're shot that is just beautiful. You really feel for these characters. You fall in love with the characters and you want what's best for them. And there are moments in the movie where you just don't want anything to happen to them, which is bad. So there's some pretty good stuff out there in Bollywood, I have to say, from the lower end as well. So I think it's something we should probably keep our eyes on, probably for the next year too. Like I think we're going to see the big blockbusters, but Bollywood has a lot of good work as well. They're doing like a bit below that too. So I think it's coming up on even the middle surface.
Well, and as you pointed out, you have an actor like Jackie Shroff, who has been in all of these big films in his past, but he's at a point in his career where maybe he can take a chance and do a smaller independent film, which I admire that.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly right. A quick shout out to Jonathan. Hey mate, how you going? Jonathan made it, so he's a new fan of Malayalam cinema. I'll put it like that. So I just want to give him a shout out there.
So we had a few suggestions here from Gokul. They listed there. You can see the thing. Their favorite films.
okay.
Those I love seeing that.
Joram.
False Fail is something I'm hearing a lot about. I want to see that.
Joram, we saw the trailer for, Kathy. That one with
Joram is the
Red
kidnapping the
Pea.
baby, or not kidnapping the baby, but protecting it.
Yes.
Maybe I can't tell. Yeah, that one looked really intense. Really intense.
I feel like I have a lot of catching up to do. Kathy and I spent a lot of this year me showing her older films. So when I looked through my Letterboxd diary, I was like, well, surely I saw more Telugu films, or surely I saw more Hindi films. And really, it was in my head I had, but we were watching older films like Murchi, Atadu, and we were watching older Hindi films as well.
Yeah.
But for me, okay, so this was an amazing year for me because you guys are newbies, but I am a longtime Shah Rukh Khan fan, a long time, okay? And there was a drought of 4 years.
Yes.
Where the last film was 0. He left on that. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
My viewers was so disappointed in that movie. And then nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
And then this year, 3 Shah Rukh Khan movies. Not all equally good. But so I will just mention that it was a glorious return of Shah Rukh and his action persona, and Pathan and Jawan. Totally loved seeing Shah Rukh being showcased by a Tamil film director in the way that I expect to see big in Tamil cinema. I watched Jawan both in the Hindi and Tamil. It was super fun. But I have to say, the one film that gave me so much joy this year was Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani. I went to see it twice in 4 days. It's just, it was like Bollywood is back. Like, it was just so, it was pure joy. The dance numbers, especially the male duet. Oh my gosh. You know, doing the one dance number from Devdas.
I loved that.
Well, that is one of the main reasons why I went back to see it in the theater again. I was like, I have to see this on the big screen again. So that film gave me so much joy. And one of my viewers is on the chat, and he shared a story with me that he had a friend who was terminally ill with cancer, and he recommended that she watch Rocky or Rani when it came on streaming. And it brought her so much laughter and joy in some of her last weeks of life. And I just think it was a movie that just gave pure joy. And so, you know, you would think that Melanie would go with one of the Shah Rukh Khan movies, but I'm going with Rocky or Rani.
It was a gorgeous film, though. Like I saw that and was just, it blew me away. And I didn't expect to like it because they brought in like a really strong female character, which I really liked. And, you know, they brought up a lot of cultural problems with, you know, how women are subjugated a lot of times and not taken seriously, or their, you know, demands made of them. And I thought that was really interesting to see that kind of topic inside such a big, glossy, funny movie that, you know, it gets huge points for me for that. So I loved that movie. I thought it was fantastic. And I loved Ranbir Kapoor as the himbo. And a shout out to whoever did subtitles. Was that Rakes?
It was not Rakes, but it was, the subtitles were beyond. So for those of you who did not see it with English subtitles, the subtitle is this woman put in all of these weird English spellings so that we could tell that Ranbir was pronouncing the Hindi in a weird way. And it was glorious.
Oh, that's
so we were in on the joke.
Like at first I was like, what? Why are they? That's a weird typo. And then I realized, oh, they're doing it on purpose so it looks weird because he's probably saying it in some way. So that was fantastic.
Epic.
I loved that.
Absolutely
so good.
epic.
Yeah, that was great film. But I have to say, and this is going to be a controversial choice.
Okay.
Only because it was very special. Because I almost went with Rocky and Rani. And I thought, well, I know Melanie's probably going to do that. And I did love it. But because I think this won't get a lot of love, and because I don't know why I loved this movie. I loved Animal. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. I thought that was the best Hindi movie all year. There. I said it. I thought it was so offensive to so many people. It pushed so many boundaries. But I thought Ranbir Kapoor did the most incredible, brave, amazing performance. I never thought I'd see him do that. he completely transformed his whole persona for this movie. I loved it. I'm sorry.
It was something to see. It was
Wow.
And I love, and even in the middle of all the chaos and the insane, because I love horror movies. I love the violence. I was totally on board for that. The over the top. I loved some of the little quiet, artful moments, like I've talked about, like in our review of that beautiful shot of him, and the woman laying in the bed together, and he's just sort of laying peacefully on top of her, and it was just a beautifully peaceful.
Like
it was like the only time you could see him just kind of just be, and then there's the other subtext of it. It was all just a big lie. So that was even better. So and it had one of the best post-credit endings that transformed Ranbir Kapoor again. Not Ranbir. Sorry.
Ranbir. Yeah, Ranbir. Ranbir.
There's too many.
Yeah, I mean, it set us up to wanting to see part 2 yesterday.
And they didn't kind of ease you in. They completely assaulted you in the post-credit ending with this insane machete massacre. So I put that one on the list. Again, I was torn. It was either between the beautiful, invigorating, optimistic Rocky and Ronnie or the completely nihilistic, gross, disgusting animal movie. I'm going with that.
I mean, it's impactful. I do say I'm a little tainted from some of you. If you're not on Twitter, like some people associated with the movie kind of came after another female movie critic, Sucharita, by quoting her review with their like box office numbers and just like sending the trolls after her. So that when you have a movie that's already being blasted for being misogynistic and you only go after the female critic for giving you a bad review, okay, come on.
It probably wasn't the only one. I doubt it was the only one.
No, it was not the only. It was not the only one. It was not the only one, and it's like, okay, guys, come on. But
AMS is calling Donkey movie of the year.
Well,
not according to Melanie.
This Shah Rukh Khan, and I don't fault him for the movie. I fault the script and Harani's directing. It just didn't have that connection for me. Like, this is the man that made 3 Idiots and some really impactful and also hilarious films. I just chuckled. Like it just wasn't there for me. So sorry, but
it was a more gentle, quiet kind of movie. Like the humor.
And I mean, some of my viewers have responded saying that I don't get it because they have immigrants in their family, or that it's their personal story and it really means a lot to them. That is a valid point. But that's not completely why it didn't connect with me. It's also just the emotional beats that the director was trying to give us didn't connect. So I'm glad it's working for some audiences. I don't want Shah Rukh to have a flop. I'm just saying it didn't personally connect with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised. I'm noticing a very quiet no Salman Khan mention, no Tiger 3.
Okay, only we can mention Katrina, who is the goddess of Bollywood. Okay,
no one in the comment section either. Like I'm surprised.
Somebody brought up in here best Hollywood movie of the year, which we should talk about. We haven't really,
Hollywood
chance. Okay. So when I see that, when I think about Tiger 3, I think of it as like one of those big Hollywood movies that does really well, that no one takes seriously, that no one will ever pick for best movie. That to me is like Tiger 3, beautiful, well produced. Did a great job.
Super fun.
But just not a top movie. And here I am talking about Animal being my top movie. So I have nowhere to stand on this except that I liked it. It just felt a little derivative. And I liked it. It was big, no big surprises except for the amazing Shah Rukh Khan cameo, which was a highlight of the whole movie.
Yeah.
But So Amit. Best.
Which one?
Did you? Oh, you already talked about Hindi.
Oh yeah, I started with my low budget.
That's right, we did. It was so long ago.
We pushed him to go first, and then I nattered on for half an hour.
No.
Okay, here we go. Controversial take, Tiger 3.
Oh. Okay, there we go. We got to mention a Tiger 3 now.
I will say I did like the SRK movies this year. The Pathan and Jawan. I thought they were great. I think if I had to pick, I think Pathan I like better than Jawan. I think it just had more fun, and I love the dance numbers in it were great. But I did enjoy both of those. I thought they were super fun. Here's another one.
Yeah, we're getting some good ones. So that's I've heard of that movie as well. But the other one before that from Pseudonym, I've heard of that movie. I've never had a chance Yeah, I think I've seen the trailer on
Oh, it looks heavy.
Netflix as well. Yeah, it looked really heavy, but that's good to know that someone like thank you for the comment and letting us know that you're a fan of it, because I didn't know whether I should watch it or not, but because Rani Mukherjee is an old veteran actress and great to see her back. But I've not had the chance to see it, so I might check it out now.
Okay. I mean, it looks terrible. Women's children being taken away. I got to gear myself up for those. Instead, I'll just watch Animal again. That's I told you that my taste runs a little off.
Yeah.
I started strong with the Kannada film pick, but I went down quick with Hindi. I know this. All right. Next up, Malayalam. This is on this.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do
All right.
Oh boy.
This one is hard.
What a year for Malayalam cinema.
Amazing year for Malayalam cinema.
Yeah. This one was huge. I mean, I have read and I did a little comparison to see what it was like compared to last year. I've read a lot of people think it's been a bit of a down year, but again, last year was also incredible. So a down year doesn't mean
last year was incredible. Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's a bad year. It just means that it wasn't as good as last year necessarily. But oh my god, this one took me quite a while to get to my top one. I don't know which one. Who wants to start? Do you guys want to start? Want me to start?
I mean, I guess I can start. Like, I mean, there was a movie that was sent for the Oscars, which is 2018, which I will say is it was a very good kind of disaster movie based on real events. I really liked Aratu with Joji George playing this double role of these brothers, and there was this whole murder mystery. I thought it was incredible. But really, there can be only one, and that's, I'm going to murder this, I'm sorry, Nanpakal Naratu Mayakam.
Oh, okay.
It was directed by Lilo Joes Pellicerie and, of course, starring Mammootty. So you could say, I mean, it was a dual language. It was Malayalam and Tamil, because suddenly
I don't know if that one was this year. I'm reading a lot of comments.
No, I actually looked it up. It did play at the film festival in December, but it came out in theaters in January. So
okay, I mean, that one. If that one is in the list, then that one walks away with it. But yeah, I was unsure to include that one because on Wikipedia it just has initial release of December 2022. So yeah, I mean, okay, I'm gonna pretend like I'm not gonna pick that one just so we can have the conversation.
Go ahead.
If that isn't included, but I mean that movie, that's honestly one of the best movies that I've seen. It blew me away from what it was done, and it was the first time I'd seen like Lijo actually work with. I mean, it's the first time he has worked with Mammootty, but it was the first time I saw Lijo as well and what he could do, and I was like, there's so much silence in that movie, and it was so beautiful, and it was intentional. Everything was so intentional in that movie, and it just leaves you like, what did I just watch? The ending was open ended, and that was surprising, and I was like, it just drove all these conversations that I had with my my co-hosts and other people online and people in the comments and obviously you guys. So it's definitely one that's was up there. So if I'm not picking Nanpakul, because I'm going to assume that it didn't come out in 2023 to keep this conversation going. Now 2018 is a pretty it's for me, I really like that movie a lot. Now I think it has a bit of a personal connection, not that I had any personal connection to that movie or the time there, but it was the first Malayalam movie that I had seen in cinema, like ever. Like so it was the first time I'd gone to cinema to see a Malayalam movie. It was very early on in our channels, really, starting off. And I was like, all right, well, there's a movie playing here. Let me go see what it's like. And I went there, and I have to say the cinematic experience with that movie was something that was just amazing. I mean, like, because the thing is, the sound design in that movie, it's raining the whole time. So when you're in that theater full of people like that, you feel like you're just in the rain. You feel like you're part of the movie. It had this really cool immersive feeling. And to have all these people just around you that were obviously impacted by this event, like this was a very personal story to everyone in the cinema watching, aside from myself, because I'm not from Kerala, but obviously I could feel that sort of energy from people just being like really emotional to see that. And even when it finished, I think someone tried to speak to me in Malayalam, and I was like, I'm sorry. I can't respond. But so that was one that was really that moved me quite a bit. Irata was another one, as you mentioned, that was unbelievable. First time I'd seen Jojo George, and the way he just transformed like that, and the way he was playing two roles, I was like, who is this guy? And I think Irata still has one of my favorite scenes in Malayalam cinema. There's a scene of Jojo George in a canteen when he is just throwing this other guy around, and I cannot watch that movie. I cannot watch that scene without laughing or smiling, because I'm amazed at how well he's doing this, like physically just throwing this dude. And on top of that, it's shot with like a one camera just following. I was so impressed by what they were doing just with that as well. The other one that I want to quickly mention before I pass it to you, Kathy, is Roman Chan.
Yes.
I think that deserves a bit of mention, because that was it just caught me off guard. Like I didn't expect that, because obviously I had seen Sobin a bit here and there, but then when I saw the cast, I was like, who are these ragtag bunch of actors? Anybody went to see it, and I realized these guys aren't even actors. They're all from like different like social media platforms or like different kinds of theater. And then when it came on, and I was just laughing, bawling out when Reginald Shokin enters the scene, and it's like, oh my god, who is this guy? Like,
oh my god,
there's like scenes that will not leave me. There's this one line from one of the characters when someone asks him something. He says like, do you work out? And he says, no, I'm just naturally fit. He says it in this like tone, like this monotone, like way he says it. I was just like, this is so funny. I love this movie. And Roman Chan definitely deserves up there. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to have to go 2018. I know there's comments about the Oscar submission. I'm not really, whether it's the best choice for Oscars or not, I'm not really going into that. That's a whole other conversation. But for me, my personal pick of the year is 2018. I just thought it was just emotionally, it had the emotion that the other movies didn't have, I felt. And that's what really got me.
I've heard about the two recent Mammootty films, Connor Squad and Kaptal. And I really am anxious to see them, but I haven't been able to see them yet. And those are ones that I know people are talking about as well. Mammootty, what a year. Oh my God. Like this man.
I know. Well, I feel like pretty much all the films you listed were my top three. It was hard to pick, because when I saw The Afternoon Dream, the Mammootty film, Nampakal, I was so enchanted by it. I loved the sound design, like the radio and the movies on in the background. Like it was so odd. And then when he went in, they were acting out the movie that was going on. It was an old-fashioned movie, and everybody in the village just seemed so grounded and real, which I think they were apparently behind the scenes.
Yes,
but and when the scene where they're showing all the animals falling asleep, just love that. Like it was so beautiful. So I loved that. That was probably the most artful film I've seen in a long, long time. So I would put that definitely at the top if it weren't for Ramachan, because horror movie.
It's horror. What I mean, could we expect anything less from that?
No. And I thought I was going to be weird saying it, but you said it. So see, I'm not that weird.
No, I mean that was one of those movies that just was such a crowd pleaser, blockbuster in Kerala, because audiences wanted to see it with the crowd and all laughed together. They went to see it again and again, and I think I saw it on streaming, so I knew I wasn't getting the full experience. But as you said, like there's Salman Shahir can be so funny, but it wasn't just him. He was just part of an incredible ensemble of really funny people.
They were,
and it was, and the horror was fun too.
It was really fun, and there was genuinely good horror along with that, and I love the whole thing about it. And I want to mention 2018 too, because one of the reasons I also love that is that they did do that to Tofino at the end, because that was a bold
somebody just said he did him dirty, but you know what? That's how it had impact, and that's what happened to real people.
That's why I loved it.
Yeah,
people that you like died, and he did a heroic thing, and he died, and that's what happened to people. And I like that they gave us the character, and we were kind of comfortable with it, like nothing's going to happen to him. And then when he dies, you're like, what? You feel like the rug pulled out from under you. And so I thought it was very genius. So I did love that.
And also, a special mention. Tavino had an amazing year. Like, I mean, this is coming off a year where he had arguably one of my favorite movies. This is a movie that I go back to and rewatch. He had Talumala from last year, which made me almost fall in love with the industry, with what they were doing, how fun that movie was. And I was like, how is he going to top that? And he has 2018 this year. On top of that, he had a couple other really good movies too. So he's definitely one to look out for. There's another movie, Kannada Squad, great. I really liked it. I think it was a bit too familiar to me. That's why I probably don't put it as my top. Kannada Squad, I've not seen yet. I have a whole issue with, and I think you guys share this, distribution for Malayalam cinema. It's just not the best. They released Kannada Squad like in a random cinema, like 2 hours away, in a random suburb, and like 3 weeks after it came out. Like, it's not the best. But the other ones that we should mention is RDX.
Oh yeah, we none of us mentioned that, and we all really did enjoy that.
I did enjoy that. I thought that was
a fun movie.
It was.
I think that was also fun. But
fun
but what about RRR, you guys? Really, we need to mention the fact that RRR was so good. It needs to bleed into 2023. I believe that, and it is the actual entryway, I think, for a bigger audience for Indian film. So it gets a lot of credit beyond that. So yes, RRR is the best 2023 film. There. Bye, everyone.
Carry over.
Somebody mentioned this YouTube Brutus. Did anyone see that? It's not 2023, but okay, I haven't seen that.
YouTube Brutus. No. Okay, I am not familiar with that one.
I'll keep an eye out for that one. I've not.
All right. Well, so they're mentioning RRR. Should we do Telugu next?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should do Telugu next. All right. Telugu. Oh, this is a hard one. This is a really hard one.
Okay.
RRR is the best 2023 film.
Is there like a sequel that's come out that we don't know about?
It's RRR.
R, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Rise, Roar, Revolt, Rerun.
Regeneration.
Redo. I would watch that because that would be kick ass.
Yeah.
All right.
Look, we can say Prabhas had a good year to end it. So that's a Telugu actor. There's something there. Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I think the Telugu film industry had a real quiet one.
Yeah.
If I'm safe to say, especially compared to all the other ones. We just had like a conversation on Malayalam cinema, and we could have kept that going for 15 more minutes because there was a lot more. Same with I'm sure we'll have the same for Tamil and Bollywood. But yeah, I think for Telugu, look, I really don't have a pick that I can confidently say because I did not see enough Telugu movies. But there was, I guess I can kind of cheat. I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie called Vati. It's a Tamil movie. With Dhanush.
Dhanush, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dhanush. So what I've read is it was shot simultaneously in Telugu and Tamil at the same time. Okay. I'm not sure if that means that it's also that's the dubbing thing. This feels like I'm really cheating, but
hey, it's your list. You can do what you want.
But it's either it's a NA for me or it's this one. Unfortunately, really, it's a shame because after RRR, I was looking forward to seeing something.
Yeah.
But there is I will say if there's some hope. There's a movie that we reacted to a while ago, Kathy, with Power Star Pawan Kumar. Remember that movie? It was like about a tiger or something like that.
A tiger. I would remember that.
Not Pawan Kumar. It was. I forgot what the name is. I really should.
Tiger.
So this is, we are live, guys. So
it's live. We're gonna mess up. So meantime, Melanie, I'll do a song number. Okay, here we go.
Okay, while he's looking that up, I was, like I said, I felt like I watched so many Telugu films this year, but that's because Kathy and I watched some older Telugu films together. As I introduced her to Mahesh Babu, I introduced her to some, earlier film of Prabhas, watched Murchi together and so forth. So I was like, but then when I actually looked at my film diary of what I had seen, there weren't that many Telugu films. I mean, some of them, like you could say, well, Animal, like to Amit's point, Animal was released in Hindi and Telugu in my local theaters, not in all, not 5 languages, but it was Hindi and Telugu. Yeah. I watched it in Hindi because I wanted to hear Ranveer, but Notable film earlier in the year was Dasara, starring Nani in a very different role from what I'm used to. Not a teddy bear kind of a role. Let's just put it that way. And then he had Kirti Suresh as well. So I did enjoy that. But then this week, I watched Solar.
See what happens? Your life turns around.
Yeah.
So longtime viewers know that my channel was created because of seeing Prabhas and Bahubali 2. And I have been waiting since 6 years for Prabhas to do another good film. I'm just going to put it out there. I have gone to all of these. I have paid $25 to see them on IMAX, and I have been disappointed in every single one until yesterday.
Yeah.
And talking about Kannada film, it was a Telugu film. I mean, obviously it was released in 5 languages, but it was, a famous director from Kannada cinema, Prasad Neil, that took on this enormous film. And I'm like, oh my God, first of all, Prabhas was awesome again. And then it had Prithviraj, is one of my favorite actors from Malayalam cinema. The two of them in a movie together, playing best friends. I was in heaven. It was Christmas Day on December 21st for Melanie.
It's a nostalgic connection.
Yeah. But also he looks really good in 2023. Okay.
Exactly. We'll see. I saw Adi Paresh, and that bummed me out because I know he's better than that. And I'm watching it going, why is he so bad in this? And it wasn't even just
CGI. There was no expression on his face. I took it all away.
I know. I thought he could break through, but he did not. No. So I also was enamored by Solar because I felt like we're seeing him. He had a terrible year, and then he had an amazing year, and he made good on almost like an apology for Adi Paresh. He came in and said, "I'm going to make a kick this guy who did KGF. I'm going to blow everyone's mind," and he did. So. As Telugu goes, like you said, there are some films people have been listing here that seem like really nice films, and I've seen the trailers of some of these, and I think I watched a couple of them, but I was like, none of them really blew me out of the water like Solar. Now, again, I will apologize for my garbage taste because this is a woman who just put Animal on the top of the list, so I'm also putting Solar on top of the list. Because I'll never forget.
That loves all these small Malayalam independent kind of cinema, but I also love dearly to watch Prabhas decapitate people while he's covered in blood.
With
I eat
2
machetes.
And he's
all about
it. In that dirty t-shirt standing on a hill. I could watch that all day. I'm gonna make like a loop of that of him just standing. So yes, it's very base. I'm not that classy.
But also Prasad Neil gave us all this world building. It was like Game of Thrones or something. It was insane. I never knew where we were gonna go next. I've said it before, like Shruti Hassan and wait, what? That was me. There, and then there's more. Every time you're like, okay, it's this much story. That's a lot. Then there's more. Then there's even more. Wow. And we've got part 2. I don't know when that's going to be coming, but I'll be eagerly awaiting it.
And it isn't just so much that Solar was so great and loud. It's the fact that there wasn't those many standout films from Telugu this year. Nothing really grabbed me like that did. So it also had the benefit of it's coming out now. I got to see it in the theater on the first day. A lot of things contribute to just being a great experience. And so
it was super fun seeing it in a movie with a big full theater. That was really fun.
Yeah. All right. What you got?
Is it me?
Yeah.
No. I tried hard to find that. The movie was called Hungry Cheetah OG. With Pavan Kalyan.
That's not out yet, is it?
No. When I was saying that, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, me too.
The trailer.
We did a reaction to that. It was like, I cannot wait for that.
Exactly.
Kathy and the animals.
It's the animal and that hitting that guy with the.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
There's literally blood flowing down the stairs. My top film of 2024 is OG. I'm just saying it right now.
So that's what I'm most anticipating, I guess. But otherwise, unfortunately, I just have nothing from the Telugu film industry, which is a shame. But there's always next year. They were on such a high after RRR. It's like they did
Yeah.
Indian cinema such a big service. Like, you know,
Yeah,
they
did.
put
Right.
Indian cinema like on the map. Like, hey, look at this that everyone is watching. Just go on YouTube and type it RRR and how many people you'll see watching. Like people doing videos about it.
And
It's unbelievable.
it's like a revelation to them.
Right.
Yes.
So
And
I haven't seen anything like it.
the victory lap that Rajamouli did in the
Yeah.
award circuit, meeting all these big Hollywood directors that came up and couldn't wait to talk to him. That was just like an extra level of fun. I mean, I don't care that it didn't win Best Picture. Like it won an Oscar, people. Okay, it won for song. But the point is that they were in the room with everyone and they were in LA and they worked it and it was awesome to see. It was absolutely awesome to see.
It was a master class on how to promote your film to not only, you're not just trying to appeal to the Academy voters, you're appealing to the press, the fans, the other celebrities who want to know more, because all of those people promoted that film. See, he was smart because he went to the fans and he went to the press. A lot of people don't do that. They go to the Academy, they're trying to kiss ass on the Academy, so they'll vote for him. He did such a great job. Nobody could avoid this movie anymore. It was like, what?
Right. Well, and also the fact that it came back to theaters in the US, I've never seen an Indian film like that, unless it's, you know, some kind of revival screening, you know, one-off. Like to have a movie appear in theaters, which I saw at the first round, and then have it come back and have these joyful screenings with so many audience members who had never been to an Indian film before and got to experience that.
Yes. And that's what I like to tell people. I know they're going to like it because sometimes there's a little bit of a cultural transition where people go, I don't know, I'm not getting this. But no, this movie, you see it, you love it. I've not known anyone who hasn't watched it and gone, what did I just see?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So we're hoping, you know, really, it's less about Telugu, more about Rajamouli. He's an incredible visual filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he's done a bunch of films that have just been visually astounding. So, you know, I don't expect Telugu to be Rajamouli all the time. They also need to bring him with smaller movies, but there we are.
Okay.
I will quickly mention before we move to Tamil, like I know Pseudonym has been asking for a topic from Hollywood.
Yeah.
We might do another show for it, but look, I'm just going to come out and say my favorite one was John Wick 4. That was that takes it away.
Ahmed, who just made a speech about how he loves these small, independent, non-action movies.
Well, I mean, when you for Hollywood, if it has Keanu Reeves or if it has Nicolas Cage, I'm gonna make an exception. Whatever those guys are doing,
you're right about that.
Medium budget,
the Cage factor.
Yeah, if they're in anything, they do everything. they do small budget movies, big budget movies. But I mean, John Wick, also Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 2 was a fantastic movie. If you like the animation, that movie was very, very good. Arguably better than the first one, which is unbelievable.
It was incredible animation in that one.
Really
yeah. And then I think those two are the main ones.
I mean, for me, it's actually for me, it would be tough picks for longtime viewers may know that like the Oscars are like my World Cup. Okay, like I literally you know, follow all the award shows. There's this blog called Awards Daily that ranks, you know, what everybody's won and what's the current favorites and whatever. So there's a movie called Past Lives that I'm going to mention. But I'm just happy that it's in the mix. Small film about a Korean immigrant reconnecting with a childhood romance. But she's already married to a white guy in New York. And so it's really, really exceptional. I don't expect it to win Best Picture or anything. I'm just happy that it's part of the conversation. But I would say, like, my gosh, there's 3 big movies for me this year. Barbie was incredible. It was an incredible experience to see it in a theater full of women and girls and like to have satire. I can't even believe that movie was made. It was wild. Oppenheimer was maybe is the front runner for Best Picture, but I also Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm like, at least Indian movies give you an intermission. They did not give me an intermission for that movie, but I was riveted for what was it, almost 4 hours. I was riveted, and it's based on real life events that happened near where my mother grew up in Oklahoma. So I I was just fascinated with the whole story, and Lily Gladstone, who is the lead actress, was incredible. So I would be happy, really, if any of them. They'll probably split the wealth, as the Academy is kind of doing this year, and I don't know which one might be Best Picture, but I was very happy that Greta Gerwig, director and writer of Barbie, is now going to be the head of the Cannes film jury. So she's getting a lot of kudos and praise for that, for Barbie, and deservedly so.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would put Barbie at the top because female directors have to try twice as hard.
Yeah, and heels. Yeah,
and heels, and they. I don't think people can underestimate, and some people pretend like this isn't happening. But I can't believe that women can't win Oscars, and they just don't. It doesn't happen. So I am fully on board. What the Flash is? No, the Flash is not in the top 10.
No.
But I loved Barbie. I also loved a film that blew me away. Little tiny movie, would never be near an Oscar, not in a million years. It was a movie called Outwaters. It was a tiny little horror movie that was a found footage movie. It's hard to find. It was super
sort of
creepy.
like Blair Witch, where it's kind of the found footage, that
kind of. But they tied up with
wow.
like kind of a found footage, kind of these influencers, which brings it to a whole new level. When they go out to the desert to film a music video, they're like, and they're taking selfies and doing this, and things go terribly wrong. And so that movie was really beautiful and really well done, and I loved it. Tiny. I'll just put those on the top for now. But and of course, there's Scorsese. You know, to me, I loved Killers of the Flower Moon was great. It was sort of like I expected what I got. It was good.
And you had Robert De Niro speaking Osage. I never thought I'd live long enough to see that happen.
I was gonna say, and Robert De Niro, yes, put that in the top. I liked Oppenheimer. I just thought it was too long. I just thought it could have been edited. So I'm gonna just say it. I thought it was a really beautiful, well done film. There was just some, little quibbles with the length, because it's not like it had a big surprise ending we were leading to. We knew how it was going to end.
That's for sure.
So, but yes,
but glad to know there's interest in Hollywood movies from the audience. That's great to know. So we'll definitely incorporate that into our shows.
Do one
sort of in the future, because we didn't expect you guys to want to know our Hollywood picks, as we don't focus on it.
That's right.
But the one that I'm looking forward to. Last point before we move on is I've not seen the Iron Claw yet, but that movie's getting crazy.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that one too.
Oh
yeah,
I've been hearing a lot about that too.
I'm a pretty big wrestling fan, so I definitely want to see. So I'll definitely want to see that one. But let's move on to the
that's not what this show is about. Now we good and we've shown our hand. Let's go to the next one. Okay, we're getting down to the end. We have 2 more categories. We're gonna do
two more. Don't we just have one more?
Tamil and best film.
Oh,
of course. Yeah. Good one.
Okay, best Tamil film, and I'm going first because I love this movie.
Okay.
Jigatana XX. Best movie. Best Tamil movie. I love this movie so much. Best thing I've seen all year. Better than any Hollywood movie. I loved this movie. It's just, it had everything I love about it. Clint Eastwood in his best spaghetti Western time. Love of filmmaking. Amazing. A great, beautiful depiction of elephants being spiritual, why they're important animals, why we need to let people have their cultures and live with their cultures and not invade it and destroy it. It's like just beautiful. That's there. Can't say that about it.
And the power of cinema, right?
The power of cinema.
The last half hour was just blew me away, because it went. It's not often that a sequel surpasses, or prequel, whatever you want to say, that surpasses a first iconic film. I mean, what pressure to, when Jigartanda, the original film, is such a fan favorite, to dare to go there and do another film, and you're like, okay, it seems like the same themes. Okay, this is really enjoyable, and then whammo!
Just mind-blowingly great, and it had that cool 70s vibe, and it had the Quentin Tarantino edge to it, but it brought a lot more heart than any Quentin Tarantino movie could bring. So just.
And the whole
astounding movie.
Yeah. If you guys want to listen to us talk about that movie for like an hour, check out the review.
We have a review, and that was short.
Because Yeah, exactly. We could have probably spent another hour talking about how much we love that one. I mean, just seeing Eshe Surya fall in love with cinema is such a
Oh,
relatable experience for anyone watching that movie.
yes,
Because we're like,
S.J.
wait,
Surya.
I'm doing this right now as you're doing it. Like I can see what you see in movies because I'm watching you do it.
Right. That's right.
So I mean,
Yeah, he
yeah,
was in the
Kathy
best
had a-
and the worst.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
not
we
talk about the
loved
other
one
but-
movie, did not like the other one.
No,
Did not like it.
So we got some great
Yeah.
we have some great stuff in here. Sack and C said
Yeah.
Chita did not see that. And Jigatan.
I've been hearing a lot about Chitta. I've been hearing a lot about it. I think it's come to streaming, so I think we should organize a review for
Yeah,
that
we
one on,
should.
for the three of us. I think because I've been hearing a lot about it and how important it is and how great it is. Like, the
What is it
comments, thank you
about?
so much, Ravi. I think it's
Robbie
about a
says
kid.
it's hard to watch.
I think it's about a kidnapping or something
No
like that.
animal
Or
stuff. No animal stuff.
I don't know if it's animals.
I
but
mean,
it's
the fact I
the
like
main
Jigatan.
premise is around a child. I think.
Oh yeah,
I think it's about a child being kidnapped or a daughter. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough watch. It's gonna be a tough one. I
damn
know
it,
that.
Robbie.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that it was really hard for me to say like which is number one because Jigurtanda,
Ooh,
it's like it was really tough. But I went with
Yeah.
Ponniyin Selvan too because
Mm.
just that came out early in the year and just the scope of it. Okay, here you have this master filmmaker, Mani Ratnam, trying to adapt this enormous novel that is so beloved, and just the massive undertaking and the number of characters and how he all pulled it together. And I rewatched the first one right before I watched the second one, and it just it was a little overwhelming seeing the first one because I had not read the novel and there were so many characters. I kind of really didn't get it until I watched it the second time. So I just felt like the scope, and I absolutely adored Karti's character in Ponniyin Selvan. He was my favorite, and his romance with Trish, I thought
He's great in both of them.
he was so regal. She was so regal, and anyway. So, and it was fun to see Aishwarya be kind of a villain character too. That was really, really fun. So it's a really close call for me, and I'm just saying I have to mention Ponniyin Selvan.
Yeah, definitely mention. My only beef with Ponniyin Selvan too is I feel like it lost its humor and it was just one big battle scene. Like I liked the I guess it's more like the lead in. There was a little more drama versus fighting and a little more humor with Kaiti and his horn dogness. I'll say, but yeah, no, it's so funny.
I will agree. I enjoyed his parts of the first film a lot. Yeah,
I love that.
I will say also a huge year for Tamil cinema. Tamil cinema had a huge year this year. When I was also thinking about the movies I watch, and I'm not a full-time Tamil cinema watcher, but I watched a lot of Tamil cinema and a lot of good Tamil cinema. Like the ones so aside from the ones we mentioned, we had the movie Portoil, the movie that I watched with I think yourself, Kathy, the one with the murder mystery, the police procedural one with the two characters. That was a great movie.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was really fun. And then we had what else have I got listed here? Yeah, we mentioned Jigatandra. Now for me, there's one that I was early on, and I mentioned this before. I don't know if this is a popular pick, but this movie definitely moved me emotionally, and I was torn between Jigatandra and this movie, the movie Vati that I mentioned before, the one with Dhanush. Like I don't really like cry in movies, but some of the scenes in that movie. Oh boy, like it's basically about a teacher who basically is trying to uplift the school and that they're under oppression, they're under struggle, and his performance in that is some heartbreaking scenes in that movie. So I might have to give it to that one because I was just moved in such a way. I watched that with my wife, and we were both just like, "Oh my god, this is going to bring us to tears. We have to pause this."
Oh no!
One was I should mention is Maviran. Remember that movie, the superhero comic one?
Oh yeah, like, that was really good. Yeah,
the Tamil movie.
That was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I do feel like it was a really strong year for Tamil cinema this year.
And we haven't mentioned Leo.
Well, that's what I was just about to do. I stole my thunder there. But I would have to say I am a fan of VJ. And this was an adaptation of History of Violence, of Viggo Mortensen film.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was really a great adaptation that added thanks to the story and made it uniquely Indian. But I mean, I have seen VJ kind of up and down the last few years. Some films I really like, some I have felt like were just completely fan service, and if you weren't already a fan of VJ, you didn't really, there wasn't a lot there for you.
Right.
And Leo both gave you fan service, but also give you a really great story, and the way it was tied into the universe, oh my god.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
it was really well done.
It was, so to have a big, hero film, a big VJ film be really great was made it a really also another special year for me.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to pick for Tamil. I think it was one of my hardest categories to say, oh my gosh, how do I narrow this down?
Jailer's another movie.
Yeah,
if it hadn't been for Gigatandra Double X, I probably would have put Leo because of the hyena.
Okay, yeah.
He had a moment. First of all, weird choice. Secondly, the hyena actually has a cool moment at the end. That's not just like, oh, this weird thing they added in. They actually made it matter. So points for that.
Right. It wasn't just this gratuitous scene at the beginning.
It's weird. Like,
came back.
Why is there a tiger or a bear or something cool? No, it's a hyena. This is weird. But they made it work. I really liked it. I thought the hyena was very well done.
Yeah. Very, very good year for Tamil cinema. A very good year for
Jailer. I'm sorry, I did not love Jailer.
No, honestly, me too.
Did not. Sorry.
Yeah, I probably agree with you, Pseudonym. It was hard for me to get through that movie too. I mean, I love Mohanlal's shirts and I loved Vinayakan's crazy avatar. But aside from that, and I liked the Kannada actor as well. Shivraj Kumar's appearance and Jackie Shroff. The cameos were great, but
cameos
the
were great.
movie itself,
it just felt a little repetitive and underwritten. But I thought that Regina Kant was great, but the overall story was just kind of a little lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's another movie that came out early in the year. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, called Tunivu, that had I think he's a really popular actor. This guy, Ajit Kumar. Now, if you guys want to,
I did. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yeah.
The first 15 minutes of that, the first 15, 20 minutes of that movie are like insane. I was like, what am I in for? This is the best thing I've seen. But unfortunately, after that, it just
but it did have some really great set pieces, and it was super fun to see Ajay Kumar going crazy. Wow.
It was. It was.
That was cool. That was
very cool. All right, so now we're at our big finale. Are you ready? We have to pick only one film from 2023. Okay, everybody, you out there too. What's your favorite film 2023? And let us know. And this does not count Hollywood. That does not count. No John Wick in this.
Okay. Right. It may seem lightweight, but the movie that gave me the most joy this year was Rocky or Ronnie. I mean,
it was great.
I could rewatch that movie I don't know how many times. Like I said, it was worth it to see multiple times in the theater, and that's rare for me. And yes, like I love Jigarton. I love all these other that it's so hard for me to pick, but I'm just saying what personally gave me the most joy, and that was it. And this is in a year with 3, well, you could say almost 4 Shah Rukh Khan movies.
Yeah.
This and Tiger 3 is
right.
Like that's really saying something.
Oh, that is saying, and Prabhas in that T-shirt, and Jigarton Clint Eastwood. That's saying a lot.
I know.
That's a lot. There were a lot of good movies this year.
It was a crowd pleaser. I think it's no surprise that mine is Gigatandra Double X. It's probably my favorite. Oh, thank you, Avengers 9619. That's so sweet.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yes. That was probably my favorite on, like I said, a ton of levels of just the pure virtuoso filmmaking. Obsession that it just fulfilled everything I wanted from a movie. So loved it better than any American film. On top of Barbie, Oppenheimer, Killer's Flower Moon, way better.
Yeah,
I've said it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's pretty similar to Mel's pick. Basically, I think the one that resonated with me was probably the one that hits you the most emotionally for something outside of the movie. I think as well. So I'm gonna have to go with 2018.
Wow, best movie.
It really like I still like every now and then there's a beautiful song. I don't know if the song was even in the movie, but it comes up on like my YouTube playlist every now and then. It's like they've just made a song out of that, and every time it comes on and I see that play, and I get taken back to that movie, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm transported back to that cinema, back to that place, back to that experience again, and I'm just like, wow, that was special. And just seeing that, yeah, it's definitely something that, yeah, it might not be the Oscar-winning movie of the year. I know it might have a lot of technical issues with it, but you know, in terms of just the emotion behind it, man, seeing some of those scenes, the whole ensemble cast, how they made it about the community, which is what I absolutely love about Malayalam cinema in general. They do that a lot.
Yeah,
they sort of bring the community in, so it's not just about Torino Thomas. Yes, he was the one that unfortunately, you know, was a hero and, you know, was a sacrifice in a way. But I mean, like everyone was affected by this flood. Every single person, from the children to the old people to the people, you know, in the huts making food for people. The spirit,
or even the people who weren't in the flooded areas but were worried about family and friends that were there.
That's right.
Exactly right. And how they came together. You had like I think it was Asif Ali's character who like had to like be with he had a feud with his father and his family that comes together. Did pack so much into this movie. So for me, it's just like I mean, it just hit me on so many levels. And it was just, I think if I went to the cinema seeing that as well, just added to that. But I can't take anything away from Jigatandra Double X. Like that was also an exceptional movie. By me picking 2018 is not because I think it's, I'm not trying to put the other movies down. They're all fantastic movies, to be honest. But yeah, 2018 is the pick for me.
All right. Lightning round. The question from XX.
Okay.
Double X. Since this is your first time doing this, what is your favorite Indian film that came out before 2023? That is a huge amount of films to think about, but it's just off the top of your head and it changes every day. But if you could just pick any movie right now that you would tell someone to watch an Indian film, what would it be?
I mean, for me, it'll be the one that I watched. This is a movie that basically, if it came on TV, I'd have to stop everything I'm doing. Or if my dad was watching it, or if anyone was watching it, Lagan, if you guys have seen that or not, like. Yeah, like it's a kind of movie that like it'd be like, oh, what's this? Okay, well, what time is it? All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to sit down for the next 2 hours and watch this.
How about 4 hours? How about 4 hours?
Yeah.
It's a long movie.
So I mean, it's a long movie, but it's like one, love cricket, and two, what that movie just does so well, the emotion behind it, like, is that's a childhood pick. You know, if I'm picking from Indian movie, like, because obviously I didn't grow up with Bollywood, but I saw a few movies here and there, and that was one that would just always be like, it'd stop me. I'd be like, I have to watch this. And then, you know, I'd talk about it with my friends and be like, yeah, that scene there, like, it was like beyond anything. It was larger than the movie itself. Like, that's very cool. That's my pick, XX. I'd love to know your pick. Let us know what your, since you've asked this question, XX, let us know.
XX is someone that sends me a lot of classic Bollywood recommendations.
Okay.
And there's one movie that I recommended to him that I know he enjoyed. You know, I kind of judge by my audience of who I'm talking to, right? So if someone, let's say someone really is a fan of Lord of the Rings, I would tell them watch Billy. I would recommend RRR to just about anybody, right? And those are also because they're easily accessible. They're on Netflix, whatever. It's easy to recommend. If I know someone likes independent cinema, I would recommend something like Kumbalangi Nights or Sudani from Nigeria, because I think they're really universal, and you don't need to know anything about Indian society really to get that human story. But the movie that I recommended to XX is OK Kanmani, and that was one of the first movies that I made Kathy watch. A special place in my heart. It's Dulquer, yes, okay, but it's also Mani Ratnam, one of maybe my favorite director, you know, of Indian cinema. So that one just has a special place in my heart, and I really love that movie, and I don't know how many times I've seen it. There's other movies that I've seen many, many times, like DDLJ, and it's sort of like, if I would recommend that, some of those things are like things that are cringe now about that movie, in the same way that John Hughes movies from my teenage years can be a little cringe. And also, if somebody hated it, you know, like I did recommend it to somebody and they're like, I tried it, I couldn't get through it, right? So that kind of would break my heart a little bit. Like that one is the one that got me into watching Indian cinema. I happened to watch it, DDLJ on Netflix. It was on there at that time. And then I watched Rodney Bunny Jody, and I couldn't believe it was the same actor. I remember literally looking up on IMDb. I'm like, what? So to make sure, wait, it's the same guy?
No, seriously.
So the beginning of my Shahrukh obsession. But anyway, so, I really kind of tailor it to the person. There's not just one, right? Like it depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think it was just top of the head. That's what it comes. But you're exactly right. It's definitely contextual, and I love them all for different reasons. Like the ones you mentioned, like Sudani Nigeria is another one that I can't watch without just like the end scene. Oh my god. Yeah. It's a tough one.
What would you say, Kathy? You're a year or so in. What would you say?
I would say so RR, because it was so astounding when I first saw it. Yeah. So I would say that's very, very high on the list. I know that everyone says that, and especially if you're in the West, it's like, oh, you guys like RR, but I love it. It's
accessible for people.
It just is. Also,
and it's a very good movie.
It's a fantastic, beautifully crafted film, and I love how it brings everyone together. Like when I saw it at the movie theater, they had a special screening for it, and Rajamouli was there, and Ram Charan. They felt like everyone was your friend. Everybody was brought together in the joy of seeing this movie, and everybody cheered and cried. It was great experience seeing that movie. And then on the other end of the spectrum, now I can't remember the title, and I'm trying to find the title. But all right, then we have, it's a horror film about the underground, the devil who has the gold in his diaper.
Tumbad.
Mm-hmm.
I
that's a good one.
that. I've seen a lot of Indian horror since then, and it's never gotten better than that. That is still my top.
That's the top.
So good. And then just because I love Fahad Fazil, I love Joji. Oh my god, love Joji.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say War, because Hrithik Roshan, Tiger Shroff, best love story I've ever seen. Done.
I mean, War is another accessible movie, right? Yeah, that is a great list. That really is a great list.
A bit of everything. You have a bit of independent with Joji, and you have their two extremes.
Well, I mean, and you can't go wrong with Tumbad. You don't have to, again, know it at all, background and Indian cinema or anything, because a lot of Indian cinema can be so self-referential to other movies that you feel like you're not in on the joke. Tumbad is just extraordinary screenwriting, and the look of that film is so incredible, and it's like nothing you've ever seen.
So unique. So
unique. Yeah.
So there you have it. Not only did you get the best movies of 2023, you got some great ones at the end of our best favorite films off the top of our head.
Great question.
All right. Thanks, you guys, for coming to our live show.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
We're going to try and do it again, and be sure and let us know in comments what you would like a topic for a live show to be, and we can do that too.
Yeah, we'd love that.
Right.
Definitely.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Everyone, bye.